What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, and you have to forgive me if I happen to be squinting a little bit more in this video because typically I would be facing the opposite direction, but the sun is coming up over these houses and I don't want to have a bunch of glare coming into the camera, so rather than doing that, I'm going to be looking directly into the sunlight, so forgive me for that. Now, I want to answer a question that came up a while back in a video. And basically, the way the question went was thinking about getting into truck driving, but my night vision isn't as good as I'd like it to be. So, is there a way that you could do the majority of your driving during the day? Now, I'm not sure if that means he's not capable of driving at night or if it's just uncomfortable to him. So, first of all, listen, I understand it. When I was with my trainer, when we were teaming together, I preferred driving during the daytime. And a lot of that, or there's a couple different reasons why I like driving during the daytime. Obviously, you can see things a little bit better. And at the time, since we were teaming, that truck never stopped moving, so there was never a time that I had to worry about trying to find a parking spot. Now, the truck that we happened to be driving was a 2019 Freightliner Cascadia. And now that I have this Peterbilt that I'm driving, I will say that the headlights at night, if you're just operating under normal conditions, are going to be about 30% better. And if you have your high beams on, they're going to be about 30% better under high beams. So I don't really have that same anticipation with driving at night as I used to. Now, I don't know if the person that had this Peterbilt before me put in some LED headlights. I really don't care. All I know is I could see a lot better, so for me, right now, I prefer driving at night for a number of different reasons. Main reason I like driving at night, and if you had to ask me the perfect time to drive, it would be leaving like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That's going to end my day somewhere between 11 and 1 o'clock that next day, and I'm always going to be able to find some parking during that time. So that's the main reason why I like driving at night. But that's not answering the question. Can you avoid driving at night or have the majority of your driving done at night? You know, about a month ago, I would have answered this question a little bit different, but I happened to be out at Pillsbury distribution center. I think that's what it was. And I ran into another Prime driver, and we just happened to start shooting the shit together, talking about our next loads and, whatnot. And he said that he had got a load from his dispatcher, and his dispatcher knows that he doesn't like driving at night, and the load originally was supposed to be picking up sometime around 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening, but that load got changed to be picked up at 9 o'clock the next morning. So in talking to him, it looks like he's able to manipulate his driving around the daytime. Now, I'm not sure how that works for him in terms of finding parking or anything like that at the end of the day, because if you start your clock at 9 o'clock in the morning, let's count it out. Let's say you just do 9 hours of driving, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you just drive 9 hours, that's going to put you in a truck stop or wherever you want to park between 6 o'clock. And if you happen to drive the full 11, that's going to put you in there at 8 o'clock. And if there's any delays or anything like that, you're going to be up to 4 hours after that. That's almost impossible to find parking, depending on where you happen to be driving during that shift. East Coast can be a little bit harder than the West Coast. So, is it possible to have all your driving during the daytime? I would say 100% driving, no, but I guess there's a way to manipulate that. I think you might be manipulating yourself into more problems than benefits. So, to answer that question, the person that asked it, if you are capable of driving at all at night, I would say that I would probably try to do as much of that night driving as possible. Even, as summer approaches, the sun's going to be coming up a little bit earlier, probably around that 5 o'clock in the morning time frame. If you're able to pull out, 4 o'clock in the morning, just get a couple hours of that darkness in, and then have the majority of your driving done in the daylight hours. That's what I would suggest if you're able to manipulate that. You may be able to manipulate the pickup times, the departure or arrival time, where you plan on dropping your load off at, may not be as flexible as the pickup point. So, one of the things I can say about that, and I really didn't ask him about that, about how he's able to manipulate this, but a lot of times you might have a pickup and they may be able to kind of change that, but the delivery, you may not be able to change that. So if you push a pickup from, let's say, 9 o'clock at night to 6 or 7 in the morning or something like that, you may just end up having to get that load there in a shorter period of time, because that delivery time may not be able to get rescheduled. So that's usually not a problem. It seems like Prime typically will have enough time on loads to pull that off, but there's times when it's not. I've heard people say that Prime loads are based on 45 miles an hour, and I can assure you that I did a load that was not going to be based on 45 miles an hour, and it was going to be all night driving. As a matter of fact, my dispatcher was going to give that load to a PSD trainer that was able to kind of run it as a super solo type of a load, but I assured him that if he got me that load, I'd get it there on time, and I was able to do it. And it would not have been able to get done driving 45 miles an hour, and it would not have been able to get done taking much more than a 10-hour break. So I guess to kind of sum this video up, it would really depend on how bad your night driving is. If you're telling me that you can't drive at all at night, I would say that truck driving may not be the profession for you. If you're saying that you prefer not to drive at night, then I think that there's ways that you can probably work around that to some degree or another. I think when all is said and done, if it's just a preference, you may find it easier to drive at night and find parking during the daytime, rather than driving in the day and not finding parking when you absolutely need it. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Listen, I'm just a rookie. I'm just kind of trying to tell you what I've learned from my personal perspective. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot more knowledge about driving trucks and all that stuff than me. These are just things that I've found during the last month and a half, almost 2 months of driving solo myself. Again, depends on how bad your eyesight is at night, but I find finding the parking a lot harder than driving at night. So anyway, I hope that kind of answers the question a little bit. If you have any other questions, email is going to be in the description below. Basically, it's nohippiebarbecue@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll answer it the best I can, and if I can't answer it through email, then I'll give you a phone call, and we'll kind of go from there. Anyway, today is Friday. I plan on pulling out here on Monday. Plan on getting to the truck on Sunday night. I'm probably just going to take my personal truck up to the terminal just to make things easier on my family. Find a trailer, all that stuff, and then we'll get out before that snowstorm is supposed to hit Colorado, hopefully going east and not west. Not all the way east, maybe just a little bit east, maybe southeast would be perfect. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I do appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.